You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Let's get these gains, let's work out, let's, get some strength. When I started, this is my start of gym story. In the nighttime like this, so you'll not be able to clearly see my face, but that does not matter. Listen to my words. When I started going to the gym, it probably came from a place of pain. I always had the idea to go to the gym. However, I never had the discipline to stick with it. So from the time I was maybe like 16, I would go on and off. I'd go maybe 1 month. At this time I was in high school and I was sleeping at school, so I had the excuse to say I didn't have time. But during my holidays, there were a few holidays where I would decide for that month, go to the gym, start going to the gym, literally leave my house and walk maybe 1k to the nearest gym and walk to the gym and then start working out. And I did that for a month during that holiday. However, all of my progress was lost as soon as I got back to school, because I would stop gymming. Even though there were gyms at school, for some reason I just did not have the motivation to walk at the gyms at school, and probably because of the people that were around, probably because I did not get along with most of the people from high school, and because of that I avoided going to the gym. On top of that, the gym that was at my school was far from the hostel, the dormitory that I slept in, so that was another excuse. And as time went on, 16, 17, 18, pretty much doing the same thing. 19, at 19, I would like to say 18, 19, I became a bit more serious because I had a lot of unhealthy habits in my palate at that time, especially when you leave high school and you have your first taste of freedom, not realizing that you've literally just gotten into the big race, but you think that your race is done because you just completed high school, but that is not the case. And during that time, of course, you pick up some unhealthy habits because you're going out with your friends, and I'm sure you know what those habits would be. And because of that, at that time around 18, 19, once again, I began trying to exercise, and I began trying to lift weights on my own, a homemade weight that was just seated there at home. And I decided that at this moment in time I'm going to try, and maybe I probably went about 1 or 2 months consistent, and then I stopped again. And throughout this time, this is 19 to maybe 22, so another 3 years of me just going on and off, on and off, on and off. And at times throughout these times, I would also do the same with running. So you could basically say from the time I was 16 to the time I was 22, I was always working out and exercising. However, I was not consistent, and therefore I never actually saw the physical changes within my body. However, at 22, once I left the country that I was born in, at that point I decided to commit and make the gym a lifestyle. And I said that no matter what, I'm going to do the exercises, whether I see the results or not. And I made the commitment, and I started my first month, 2020, October, I think, October, November. And from that point on, I haven't skipped a month. And now we're in 2024. So that's like 3.5 years of exercise. And I've been exercising every single month. The most I've probably missed is maybe like 3 days. Apart from that, every single month, consistently, I show up and I do what needs to be done. And now what changed from 22 before and 22 after? And one is, I like to think I probably carried a lot of pain. Because I had a lot of pain, I was more motivated. 2, I moved So of course you have more motivation because you're motivated that if you come back, you want to come back different. And 3, I could finally afford it on my own without having to go beg this person with that person. And it was very important that I started in the gym where the weights are easier to use and easier to handle and manipulate. I believe that if I started with body weight exercises, especially for those people who cannot afford to go to a gym or who do not have a gym close to them, I would have probably given up because body exercise would have been difficult and the time to get those gains would have been prolonged. However, going to the gym, paying for it, motivated me to go. First of all, I did not want to waste money. 2, the resources were available, meaning the weights, the machines that make everything easier. So instead of doing a pull-up, which is what you'd be learning with your body weight, you can use the lat pull-down machine. And with the lat pull-down machine, you can adjust the weight. So you can go and pull down 10 kgs, you can pull that 20 kgs, 30, 40, 50, and just keep going probably to like 120. However, with the pull-up bar, you do not have that luxury. You have to learn how to carry your own weight, and I'm probably about like 70 kgs. So it would have been very difficult for me to start with body weight exercises. However, I started with the gym and I was highly motivated, probably from a place of pain and having a point to prove. But at some point, that cannot sustain you forever. At some point, the people that caused you pain and discomfort are going to be gone. At some point, the motivation is going to die because you have no one to prove a point to. You have no one to challenge you. And this is a very pivotal point that I feel a lot of people go through when they start exercising or they start going to the gym, is they get to a point where they feel like they do not have to prove anything to anyone. And because of that, they stop going. They stop going. They start slacking. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, turns into a week, turns into a month. And you know how the story goes up until eventually their body is back to normal and it's like they never exercised in their life before. However, I'm here to make sure that that does not become a reality for you. And how it does not become a reality for me is because I honestly enjoy the face that people have when they see me. I enjoy the surprise and the shock for them to come upon a fully grown human being that is healthy and beautiful as I am. And I know because I see their faces all the time and I see the shock on their faces and they can't stop staring. And I enjoy that. And at this point, honestly, that is probably what is motivating me to keep going. Because I want to see how far I can take it. How far can I take my body? And how far can I take their reactions? To the point where a lot of people say, oh, you should just gym for yourself and blah, blah, blah. But of course, you do want attraction from the opposite sex. But apart from attraction, I want the pulling power of my body and my physical being to be so strong that they cannot resist but to come and see what's up. And that is why, till this day, I still exercise and I still have the motivation and the discipline to carry out my exercises every day. On top of it being a habit that I have formed, I still have the motivation and the drive to do more pull-ups, do more body weight exercises, push myself and to challenge myself because I want to see how far I can take my body. Because I want to make it the best attraction point that I'm sure as men, you know how it goes, guys. It's not very often that you get approached by females. If you even get approached by females once in your lifetime, brother, you're part of a very small percentage of people. A very small percentage of men. Now, what drives me and motivates me is I want that thing that happens ever so often to become a regular thing. That I want to feel like a girl. And I want to know what it's like for you to be so physically appealing to someone that they cannot help but to come and approach you to see if they can get some. And that is what pushes me and drives me to motivate. Very honest, very truthful. But it is what it is. And I think that that should be a driving force and a motivation for all of you guys that have pushed past the pain that you're on, because now you can actually start to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And part of that is getting people of the opposite sex coming towards you, male or female. You want people to be attracted to you, and you want that attraction to go further than a stare, and for it to actually end up in a conversation and something that can potentially be pushed forward. And that is what should motivate you to keep working out every single day, and to keep challenging yourself and keep adding to the weight.